All right. Let me check if we're live. I hope I don't get the same problem that was going on earlier because that was kind of annoying. All right, we are live. Let's get it, baby. The boat ride back to Hong Kong is tense. Even Captain Jomo's jovial nature does little to lighten the mood. The deep storm swirls in the sky behind you, and although you've accomplished your mission, you wonder what is in store once you reach Ho Chung Village. What will be waiting for you in Ho Chung? Who will betray whom? And most importantly, how can you survive the night and still get paid? You're certain these mysteries will be revealed, but how you'll learn the answers could be deadly. The Ho Chung MTR station is a testament to the high class design left to rot over a period of 15 years. Smelling of stale urine and mold, this stop has seen better days. With any luck, you'll be able to wrap the job and leave Ho Chung before the sun's fully up. Gaichu runs a fingernail over the glittering edge of his sword before turning to face you. You realize, of course, that Huang is going to be lying in wait for us, right? For us, yes. That he will try to kill us and steal the data before or during the handoff. Of course you do. It is as plain as day. He seems to know how to play the game. Absolutely. And the best way to play when you've been dealt the hand he has is to strike from stealth and bring overwhelming force to bear. He knows who we are and what we can do, and that means he'll attack with whatever forces he can muster. Let's see if we can dig up in Ho Chung, get a feel for the place. At the very least, find out if a pack of armed thugs have come through loaded for combat. Oops. Oh, whoa, that was weird. Okay. The street vendor's hawking obviously cheap junk he probably bought in the bulk from an outlet. Charms, trinkets, and small toys litter his stall. He waves his arms excitedly, drawing you over. Hey, friend, come, look at my wares. Many fine souvenirs for you. How about some information instead? The vendor's eye the vendor eyes you warily, picking a few bits of stray fruit from his beard. Maybe I can help you. But how can you help me, eh? Here's some money. What have you seen? The vendor greedily snatches the credit stick from your palm, turning it over and caressing it like a raccoon with a shiny coin. Yes, good, good. Thank you very much, my friend. There were some mercenaries moving through here earlier. Big guns, nasty expressions. I think they were from outside of Hong Kong. I didn't understand the words they were saying. I didn't see how many there were, less than 10, but enough to be a crowd. The junk vendor goes back to organizing his shop, nodding in your direction. Anyone starts shooting, keep it away from my stall, eh? I don't want any trouble. Gotcha, bro, I gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna try to do the Matrix hack again. If you're over here, like, again, what do you mean? Yeah, because, like, I was having issues earlier with my internet, I guess. It kept cutting in and out. So I had to end the stream. So now I'm trying again. Hopefully we don't get that same thing going on, because if that's the case, I probably can't stream today. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't do the same thing, though. Like, it's a little bit later, you know, fucking... They got to do their thing, work on their stuff, so... Alright, we're going in. We going in. Let me try not to get caught this time, because last time I was getting caught like a motherfucker. Like, this Matrix, in this game, they ended up changing the way the Matrix is in this game versus, like, you know, the other Shadowrun games. Like, if anything, the Matrix in those games is more turn-based. This is turn-based too, but see, you run the risk of getting caught, though. Like, that's the only thing. Oh, baby. Oh, my God, I made it. Oh, that was so close. Go, go, go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No. Oh, I gotta take you out. How am I supposed to get past that? I think I know how. Righty. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Alright, let me do that. Alright, let me hurry up and take this thing out. Missed! Isobel! Damn, bro. You about to get us caught. Thank you. Alright, this one is... I remember this one's a little bit hard. I could force it, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to do that because I'm already pretty high up in the system trace. Yeah, see? I don't want to do that. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh, shit. Let's go. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay. Yep. I did it. Are you and your men ready yet? I have a timetable to keep. Don't rush me. You hauled my team halfway across the world for this little adventure of yours, and we've just gotten off the plane. The contract says we'll be ready by 0300 hours, and we will. In the meantime, get the hell off my back. Tygas's expression is one of barely restrained anger. His hands ball up in a fist. You'd better be, you little toad. This is a matter of national security for Tyr Tarngeir, and given what you're billing me, I expect nothing but perfection. The mercenary commander is utterly unimpressed by Tygas's impotent rage. Spare me. That kind of line might work on rank and file troops, but this isn't my first day on the job. Without my troops, you'd be stuck hiring local scrubs with zip guns. As it is, I'm only here because my boss likes your brother. The elf's eyes narrow to razor slits, and he jabs a finger toward the mercenary. Just be ready, mercenary. I've paid you for your time, and for the duration of this mission. I expect your loyalty as well. I'll do my job right. That's what you're paying me for. You do yours. I want to get out of this forsaken pit and catch the next flight back home. We gotta get the fuck out of here. Oh. 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 Okay, I'm caught. Let's run. Whoa, sir? Uh, uh, let's see, who is we got the melees? Damn. Damn. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Ow. Oh, we got so lucky. Okay. I'm gonna call upon the powers of a program. Assassination ESP. Alright, we got it, we got it. So, you know what? I'm gonna do a shield ESP too. Put his ass back here somewhere. Give me some shields, bro, because I can't do shit right now. We're gonna put you right here. Assassinate. Bitch. Okay, and for you, we're gonna do a shield. Well, damn. Hell yeah, Isobel, let's go. Oops, wrong program. To target. Of course you bitch. Wow. Wow. Bro, come on. Back up off of me, my boy. Oh. You missed. Boom. Get your dumb ass out of here. Get your dumb ass out of here. Get your dumb ass out of here. Bam. Got him. Oh, what's up, sir? Get assassinated. Get assassinated. Yeah, you don't like that, do you? Do you? Come here, bitch. Of course you miss. Of course you miss. What the? How did you even get there? Kill him, please. Thank you. Get the fuck out of here, bro. The powerful troll watches you impassively as you approach, her expression unchanging. You look like the kind of person who might be interested in some hardware. You got a need? I can give you a solution. You game? Show me what you have. So let's see what we got here. She's got nothing that I need. Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. How about some information? Anybody strange hanging around tonight? The troll eyes you impassively, taking a long time to ponder before speaking. 250 new yen. and I tell you everything I know. Here you go. The vendor pockets the credit without even looking at it. Much obliged. I saw some tsunami mercenaries arming up further down the canal. Drove right by them as they were strapping on armor and checking their guns. They didn't look particularly happy to be here, but I don't blame them. This is Combat Inc.'s backyard, and they wouldn't be welcome here. You got business with them? Keep it away from my van. Wu gives a sharp intake of breath, rocking back on his heels. Tsunami's bad news, Zero. Top tier private military contractor. Tanks, close air support, dedicated naval transport division. You name it, they have it. They're not the kind of muscle you hire on the cheap. They cost a lot of new yen. The troll shrugs. I don't know what they're doing out in Ho Chung, and I don't really care so long as I don't get shot at. Look like a protection detail though. I didn't catch how many there were, but it was less than 10. They're well geared, but they didn't look like they had anything heavier than rifles or a grenade launcher. That's all for now. All right. Nothing back here. And really nothing around here. Okay. The power cabling here is deeply frayed, threatening to arc into the puddles of water below. Interesting. The street vendor is hawking both traditional Chinese medical supplies and modern trauma kits alike. Feeling down? Ginkgo biloba in bulk? Got a cut? Dock wagon first aid kit. Plenty of disinfectants. Show me what you have. Alright, so need. I have a dock wagon trauma kit. I have one on me. I have $129. I'd like some information, actually. Oh, yeah? What do you want to know? I see a lot from my stall. You seen anyone strange lurking around here? Yeah, I saw this gangster type move through here. Real nasty looker, you know? He had his crew trailing along behind him. They were all speaking Korean, too, which is why I thought it was strange. I don't speak much Korean, but I know around here the triads rule the roost. Thanks. So I don't have any money, so I'm poor again. But that's okay. That's okay. You know why? Now I need to see which one does the most. Which one gives the most money? Which one gives the most money? So let's see here. So which one gives you more money and karma? Okay. So they're saying that killing them all, so that's probably what I'll do. Tygath fidgets nervously as you approach him. His entire body is tense, and his eyes flick rapidly around the market, as if searching for unseen threats. As he notices you, he relaxes somewhat, but only a small amount. Oh, thank God you're here. I'm at my wit's end. I could swear that I'm being watched everywhere I go. He continues to glance nervously around. I don't like being out here. It's too exposed. In the distance, a police siren wails. Tygath's hand dives under his jacket, but as the wailing recedes, he relaxes again. Listen, did you bring this stuff? The faster I can get that stuff and leave Hong Kong, the safer I'll be. So let's see here. If I side with Tygath, I'll get 1,300, and I'll get a Karma and the shotgun sandblaster. If I side with Huang, Wu sweeps his goggles over the elf, their dull glow pulsing in the early morning darkness. Calm your ass down, man. That piece clears holster. I start to get nervous too. Let's not have any accidents. Tygath stops fidgeting, takes a breath, and nods. Okay, okay, I'm calm. Do we just get this over with? You have bigger problems. Your comlink's been hacked. Tygath swears under his breath, wiping a hand over his damp forehead. Shit. Wait, shit, what? That must have been how the soul pass have been staying on me the whole time. That's not my problem. Payment is. Right, obviously. The elf gestures at you impatiently. Well, hand over the data and samples and you can get paid. Then we can all go home safely. Isobel narrows her eyes at Tygath's urgency. Not yet. Your story's full of holes. What about your family? If you have the data, nothing is stopping Eastern Tiger from killing you and taking it back. I don't trust you. Tygath fidgets nervously regarding you with a suspicion. What do you mean by that? It means, jackass, that we know the score. You're no corp wage slave. You're a goddamn tier spy. What? A bunch of crazy psychopaths spin a story about me? You're gonna believe them? Your story just doesn't add up, Tygath. You're lying to me. The elf's expression abruptly changes. His fear washes away, abruptly replaced by cold professionalism. His fidgeting ceases almost instantaneously. I see. Well, now that the cat's out of the bag, I need to figure out what to do about this snarl. Gaichu runs his claw over the hilt of his katana. I cannot see you, elf, but I will know if you pull a weapon. Slow movements only, for your sake. Don't be melodramatic. I'd rather avoid bloodshed if it can be helped. If you're amenable, the deal can proceed as planned. You're gonna answer some questions first. I suppose I can indulge you. You've worked out as rather good hire so far. Tell me about Omega Sequence number 358G. Research into elven metagenics. Abhorrent stuff. Deliberately mutating elven genes in an effort to make the best qualities and imprint them onto other metatypes. Ridiculously, they seem to think they'd be able to unlock the secrets of immortality. That seems crazy. Yes, rather. Plenty of advances into so-called immortality are already being made. Gene therapy, leonization, even magical treatments. Eastern Tiger's method just happens to be a cheaper and more horrible. What's Tyr Tarngeir's interest? What's Tyr Tarngeir's interest, Eastern Tiger? Frankly, nothing, Zero. Eastern Tiger just happened to be the company researching into things that it shouldn't be. My orders are to terminate that research. What do you intend to do about the Soul Pass? I don't intend to do anything about them. I intend to leave this horrible little island. The question is, what do you intend to do about them? You live here after all. Before you can answer, a shout rings out. Yeah, what are you going to do about me? You think I'm just gonna let you hand this off without a fight? Nah, that's not happening. I'll tell you what, I'm still gonna let you walk out of here alive. I'll pay you for the data and let you live. Not the elf, though, he dies. Don't you get the hint? I'm not interested in your pitch. I am Huang Jaimin. I command the Blue Heaven Ring. Huang squares his shoulders, pulling his submachine gun to bear on you. I'm not about to let some two-bit Shadowrunner scorn me like you did. I'll make you one final offer. You give me the data and samples. Help me kill this elf. In exchange, I let you walk out of here alive. As you are distracted, Tygath puts one hand to his ear and utters a single sentence. Move in and secure the area. There is a sudden sound of running, boots on concrete. In the split second, you glance over to El's shoulder. He's in motion. Magical energy begins to arc around Wright's hands. What now, then? It seems we're at an impasse, and I'm not about to go back to Portland empty-handed. Both of you are crazy. I'm walking out of here with the data. Try and stop me, and I'll put you down. Huang's lips curl back from his teeth and he spits toward you. What? Are you crazy? You won't make it 10 feet on my... Repulsive as it is, I have to agree with the little toad. You're not leaving with that data. You're welcome to try stopping me. Alright, let's get it, guys. We are going to have the battle of a lifetime right now. So the first thing we need to do is we need to square away some cover. That's definitely number one major priority, okay? We need to square away some cover, and we need to get our guys in position. All right. Now, is there anywhere for me to go? Yeah, we're gonna go right here, and we're gonna go. Duncan, where you at? Hold up, yo. Alright, I'm finally back. As the smoke clears and the din of combat fades into the night, you take a deep breath. It's finally over. Wu grimaces in disgust as he surveys the carnage. What a goddamn mess this run was. I hope to hell kindly Chen can find a buyer for this data, or we're out of payday. Auntie's resourceful. She'll find a buyer. Don't worry. Let's just get home for now. So we should have got a hell of a lot of shit. And we also should get some weapons here. Oh, right here, yeah. Search the mercenary. So sandblaster. Yeah. Is that it? They said there was another one around here. Another gun. They said I would get 2 guns. And I wholeheartedly believe that. Where's the other gun? Shit, glitching out or something? I killed everybody. Put Gaichu's life on the line. He almost died. But luckily, we pulled through. But it seems I didn't get what I needed or what I wanted. This shit, the other gun did not appear. It was just the one sandblaster. I mean, that's okay though. You know, I don't really use SMGs, but I was hoping to sell it. That's really what I was hoping for. Alright, well, I guess we just get the hell out of here, I guess. Here we go. Let's get up out of Ho Chung Village. It all comes down to one thing. At the end of the day, the only people you can really trust are yourself and your own team. Neither Tygath nor Huang was up on the up and up, and when push comes to shove, you'll stand alone against the odds you please. Back at Hewi, the hope and hopefully better work. We're back to Hewi and hopefully better work. Hopefully, shit. Alright, so we got 9 karma. Actually, my boat is right here. Look at that boat right there. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to the peoples. Let's open the job directory. Claim payment. You submit the job as finished and await the response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. From Kindly Cheng to Zero, I do not know how to describe the job other than by calling it a complete clusterfuck. You did the right thing, killing both Wright and Huang. I don't appreciate worms to try to stiff me, and I sure as shit don't like the so-pa rings. I've attached payment. Nobody paid me, but I'm sure I can sell the data and samples you brought back. Consider this your eventual cut of that sale. Kindly. Yeah, see, Kindly knows what's up. Kindly knows what's up. She's like, look, I don't like people fucking me over, man. So you held it down for me. Thank you. Here's the money from me to you for holding it down for your homegirl, Kindly Chang. And I say, you know what, Kindly, don't even trip. I got you. You the homegirl. So we got a couple more jobs to do. Let me get out of this tab. I don't need this tab. Shadowlands. No pay data. Ooh. So we got 400. Okay. So we got 2,000 now. Go talk to my partners. Well, I could rest. For the first time since you got to Hong Kong, you wake up feeling well rested and satisfied. Flexing your limbs feels glorious. It's as though you spent hours cramped up in a confined space. You can finally stretch your legs. You push yourself up and touch your feet to the ground, but something stops you short. Your mouth. Something is wrong with your mouth. You reach your hand up and run a finger over your teeth. It doesn't take long to find the source of the problem, a molar on the upper left side. You apply a slight pressure to the tooth and it slides out of your gums with no resistance. It's as if nothing was ever holding it in place to begin with. As the tooth comes free in your hand, an image etches itself into your mind. A great chamber, hazy in form and outline, clouds of red mist that fill the air, perfuming it with salt and copper. Great columns stretching up from the ground to pierce the sky, and above it all, the enormous grinding gears of a broken machine. In the distance, you can hear a sound, a desperate, frantic pounding. Something enormous at the door, many somethings, all desperate to get in. Scrambling and scratching and scraping, but unable to find purchase. The way in is locked. You feel a tremendous sense of accomplishment. You've done it. The others are trapped outside, blind and starving, unable to pass through the door. The chamber and what lies beyond it are yours. A shrill, giggling noise fills the air, like the laughter of a small child mixed with the shivering screech of countless violins. The sound reverberates down your spine like an electric current. The intoxicating aroma of meat fills your nostrils. You've been starving for 1,000 years. Soon, it will be time to feed. And just like that, it's over. The images fade, dissipating like vapor. Only the tooth in your hand remains. What the hell? My tooth came out? You find Wu sitting on his bed and staring at the floor when you come to his cabin. He rubs his head up and back, occasionally stopping to softly bounce his palm against his forehead. When he notices you, he closes his eyes and shakes his head. Not in the mood to talk right now. I gotta wrap my brain around this Edward Sang thing. Tough finding out Raymond isn't who we thought he was. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. 16 years. We lived with him 16 years and we never knew the man. 16 motherfucking years. I just gotta think, work through this. You enter Isobel's cabin and find her jacked into the octopus. Her body slouches, motionless, tethered to the machine. The computer's large display flickers to life again, just as it did last time. Isobel's avatar fills the screen. This isn't helping. The avatar frowns down on you, a look of supreme disillusionment on its face. I'm decking. I'm in my safe space, and it doesn't help. The memories are just as painful here as they are in the real world. Yeah, it sucks. I get it. The question is, what are you gonna do about it? I don't know, okay? I just don't. You know what? Hang on. The avatar winks off the screen and the terminal powers down. Isobel's body shudders. A familiar tremor, her consciousness is floating back out of the matrix and into her meat. Her eyes flutter and she takes a sharp breath. Slowly, shakily, she rises from her perch on the floor. You're here with more questions, right? She coughs into the crook of her arm, wipes her nose with her sleeve. I'm sure that you are. Why else would you be bothering me? So spit them out, and I'll go digging around that cesspit that I call a memory. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a clue. I know that you're hurting, Isobel. If venting helps, go ahead. She takes a deep breath, makes a visible effort to calm herself. No, No, that wasn't like beef. This isn't the person that I want to be. I'll be okay. I can handle this. Just ask me your questions, okay? Let's get this ball rolling. I have a question about the walled city. She clenches her jaw and nods. Go on. Gavin told me about your escape from the walled city, just like you said she would. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Why are you telling me about it? Because the answer she gave me raised more questions. And you want me to answer them for you? She sighs. Alright, Zero. Maybe I can satisfy your curiosity. The walled city was a hellhole. You already know that. But for all of its failings, it was a good teacher. It taught me to hide, to stay small and unnoticed and insulated, to survive. It taught me that the fish on the perimeter of the school get eaten. That sticking your neck out is a fool's errand, but that even fools can have their uses. It also taught me to recognize a stronger person when I met one, and how to use that strength for my own benefit. So when I met Gobbet, I knew she had something I didn't. Confidence. Sure, that, and her connection to Rack. Everything about her, really. We were different people then. Still are now, but the differences were even more pronounced when we were kids. Care to elaborate on that? Gobbet was playful and carefree. She could hold her own in a scrape, but she mostly saw life as a game. As for me, well, I knew that it wasn't. I couldn't have been more than 9 or 10 at the time, but even at that age, I saw Gobbet for what she represented, what she could be. Your best friend. No, that didn't happen until later. What I saw her as then was a road out of the walled city, a path to freedom disguised as a little girl with dreadlocks. And as it turned out, I was right. She pauses, her eyes split to the ground, and she tightens her hands into her fists. Ever since I unlocked these damn memories, I can't go 10 minutes without thinking about what might have happened if I hadn't followed Gobbet out of that place. It's like a vicious cycle running over and over in my head. I hate it, but it won't stop. I feel guilty. You needed help and you took it. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Gives me another reason to feel grateful to her, I guess. That's something. I've always known that I owed Gabe, but now I remember how much and why. Anyway, that's my side of the story. I hope that has satisfied your curiosity. Now let's move on. Gobbet said that you didn't want her to guide your parents out of the walled city, that you wanted them left behind. She nods miserably. Yes, but not for anything that they'd done. My parents were good people. They fled Somalia to to find a better life for their children. It wasn't their fault that they wound up in the walled city. I wanted them left behind for me. You want to talk about it? Not particularly, but I get the feeling that you'll look at me differently until I do, so I will. She taps her temple. I wanted them left behind because of this. I knew what I was going to have done. I planned it well in advance. After I got out, I was going to find someone who could make my childhood go away. How would that have stuck with if my parents were around? If I had a living reminder right there next to me, it wouldn't have. So they had to stay. That's cold, Isobel. It's survival. Besides, I was sure that they'd be fine. They were my parents, grown-ups. They'd be alright. She heaves a sigh. Before you ask, I checked. They're gone now. I can't go riding to their rescue. I made a decision when I was a kid. It felt like the right one at the time, and now I have to live with it. Such is life. It wasn't always until very recently. I couldn't remember any of this. Now let's change the subject, okay? Anything else will be fine. Why did you have your memories locked away? Why do you think? They were awful, traumatic. I'm not talking about personal trauma here. I was fortunate enough to avoid the fates of many of my peers. I didn't get pressed into service in a brothel. The organ leggers didn't get me. I only had to watch one of my siblings die. She frowns. So yeah, it could have been worse. But that doesn't make an early life in the walled city any easier to bear. Hang on, you watched one of your siblings die. She nods. Yes, my older brother, Cabdale, heroin overdose. He was 19, almost the same age that I am now. I'm sorry that you had to watch that. Me too. Want to hear something awful? I almost envied him. He got out easy compared to a lot of people who die in the walled city. There was no evidence. He wasn't taken by organ leggers or gunned down by the triads. He just put a spike in his arm, depressed the plunger, and stopped breathing. Quick and easy. I'm sorry. Don't be. His death was a lesson, and I did my best to learn from it. Everything that happened in my childhood was that way. A lesson in disguise. Lessons about impermanence and the random cruelty of life. Lessons about what a huge mistake it is to get attached, and how to prioritize your own survival no matter what. I learned some of the same lessons when I was a kid. She nods. I know. We all carry the same scars. You, and me, and Gunshow, and Gobbet. Some run bigger and deeper than others, but we've all got them. Her voice goes small. I don't want mine anymore. Abruptly, she turns away, and that's enough of that. Ask me something else, Zero. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Please. To be honest, almost anything else would be preferable. Any thoughts about the last run? I hate to be a downer over that mission, but I'm starting to wonder if Kylie Cheng is slipping a little. The entire reason we give her a cut is to make sure that the people that hire us don't have ulterior motives and won't screw us over. Kindly dropped the ball on that one. Hard. I'm going to bet that whatever irritation Kindly has over us killing the client and a gang of Koreans will disappear the instant she finds out just how valuable the data is. We basically handed her a bigger payday, and if there's one thing that can calm her down, it's cash. You made the right call. It was an impossible situation, and getting rid of both of them was the only sensible call you could have made. Anything else you want to know? I've got to go, Isobel. She nods glumly. Be well. Poor Isobel. She's really struggling with her memories. As you enter Gobbet's cabin, two things grab your attention. The first is Gobbet herself. She looks exhausted, bleary-eyed. That the easy smile that you've come to associate with her is nowhere to be seen. The second is what she's doing. Gobbet appears to be in the middle of a valiant attempt to stuff a whole roasted duck into a saucepan half its size. The bird's rubbery neck flops from side to side with every heave of her shoulders. She looks up from the saucepan, blinking. A corner of her mouth twitches upward, but the half smile falls away almost immediately. Oh, oh, hey, Seattle. Caught me at a bad time. I was just making dinner. I've been watching the struggle. It looks like the duck is winning. Huh? She blinks down at the duck and her mouth dips into a frown. Oh, it isn't winning. It's just being stubborn. I'll make it fit. Don't you worry. She gives the bird another heave. Something gives way with an audible crunch. This'd be easier with a bigger pot. I'd have to wash it first, though. She glances down at the piles of dirty clothes and assorted detritus on the floor of her cabin. Frowning. Detritus? Detritus on the floor of her cabin, frowning. And to do that, I'd have to find it. Anyway, you, want something? I'm up to my elbows in mallard. I'm ready for my next lesson. Actually, you feeling okay? You don't look well. Ugh. She rubs the bridge of her nose with a pair of greasy fingers, leaving smudges of duck fat behind. It's weird. Ever since our last session, I felt, I don't know, preoccupied with the sinking ship. I don't really do the whole haunted by demons of my past thing. I mean, that's fine for some people, but I'm allergic to drama. Generally, when thoughts of the past get me down, I remind myself that it doesn't matter, laugh it off, and go have a snack. But this, I don't know. It's weird. Ever since our last lesson, I haven't been able to get the sinking ship out of my mind. She looks down at the full of mangled duck on the counter and closes her eyes. I guess I'm just worried about Cad and Mal, which is weird because why would I be? I mean, I haven't even spoken to them in years. Hell, if anything, they should be worried about me. I'm the one who gets shot at for a living. Maybe we should go check it out. The sinking ship isn't far, is it? No, no, I don't want to do that. At least, not without a good reason. It'd be awkward, and I'm sure that it's nothing anyway. Actually, check that. I know what this is. It's my own personal version of the same thing that we're all feeling. The psychic sewage that's being dredged up in all of us by whatever's happening in the walled city. I'm sure that you've had some flashes of memory from the barrens in your bad dreams, right? Images from your past come back to haunt you. But you aren't going to drop everything and go running back there because that would be dumb. So tell me, why should I? Because the sinking ship is like 15 minutes from here. It couldn't hurt to check. Look, I don't want to go back there if I don't have to. If thinking about the place is enough to mess with me like this, I don't want to know what being there will do. But I'll tell you what, I'll drop Malvina a line just to check it. Make sure that this is a me problem and not a them problem. And if there is something going on, I promise you'll be the first to know. Alright, Gobbit, if that's the way you want to play it. It is. Now, was there anything else you wanted? Or can I get back to my duck? Any thoughts about the last run? You didn't bring me on our last run, so I guess our lesson. Yeah, yeah, sure, Seattle. Or yeah, sure. In Seattle, everything will be fine. You'll see. If there is anything fishy happening to the sinking ship, you and Iz will be the first to know. I promise. So yeah, I missed out on my lesson. Oh well. So she wasn't feeling good anyway, so it's all good. Do I have any upgrades? No upgrades. He does have bite. Okay. So Ractor doesn't want to talk right now either. Gaichu's box of personal effects is overflowing with a collection of souvenirs, mementos, and knickknacks. There is no rhyme or reason to the collection of items. They appear to have been thrown in haphazardly. Laying atop the box are a collection of antique Japanese coins inside an overturned wooden mask and a black lacquered box with gold inlay. Gaichu cocks his head, sniffing the air in your direction. I think I did this before already. Okay. The cabin is in a far better state than it was previously. The heat has been adjusted down and the ventilation restored. The boxes of junk and parts have been stacked and neatly arranged, and Gaichu's small amount of personal gear is tucked away in a corner. There is a small mat in the center of the cabin that looks like it doubles as both a rug and a sleeping pad. Gaichu is seated in the lotus position, eyes closed. His fingertips rest on a braille reader that is plugged into his PDA. I'm just getting a little bit of this cream for my pimple. The device fills the room with a soft clicking from the pin combinations. As you approach, he lifts his hand from the reader's surface. Hello again, Zero. Is there something I can assist you with? Looks like you've carved out a nice little spot here. If you say so. I doubt it would be suitable for others, but I do not require much by way of space, and have few possessions. So long as I have a quiet area in which I can sit and relax, I am happy. Now, what is it that you wish to discuss? Any thoughts about that last run? Gaichu snorts, expression turning sour. As much as I hate being double-crossed by a client, I hate failing to deliver on a contract just as much. The entire job was a no-win situation. Do we break our word, making ourselves look bad, or do we execute the client, branding ourselves dangerous to future Johnsons? I confess, I did not expect you to kill both parties. Still, an unorthodox solution to a complicated problem. As Alexander did in Gordium, use your sword to untangle a stiff knot. And now we are free of both of them, and we can sell the data on our own. Despite the bloodshed, I feel this was an elegant solution. Well done. Is there anything else I could do for you? What were you reading? Gaichu draws himself up. Folding his palms in his lap, with one toe, he pushes the braille reader away. It is called Hagakure, Hidden Leaves, written by Yamamoto Tsunetomo, a, tr- a treatise on what it means to be a samurai and how one should best serve one's lord. Required reading for the Red Samurai, unsurprisingly. Looking for hidden meaning. I have it memorized, but sometimes I have found that reading the words reveals new meanings, yes. I may have left my old life behind, but old habits are the hardest to shake. The author has a central thesis. When there is a question of life or death, always choose death. Throw oneself. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. The author has a central thesis. When there is a question of life or death, always choose death. Throw oneself into the fray with no resignations and act on instinct alone. My current state of affairs speak the truth of this more robustly than any lesson in a dojo. That doesn't sound too different from life in the Redmond Barrens. Truly, Gaichu considers this, leaning over to rest his arm on one knee. I have fought a few Shadowrunners in my time, and I admit, they have always proven more tenacious opponents than corporate soldiers have. On the street, it's always life or death. You get a lot of practice. Then I am not surprised at the prowess of those that I have encountered. Soldiers train, but rarely against real opposition. Sunetomo believed that to truly embody the virtues of a samurai, adherents should be mindful of their path at all times. Never stop training. Always question how one's actions reflect on their Lord. Above all, be prepared to do your duty instinctively at any time, no matter what the cost. That sounds like a dangerous path to walk. I am certain it is, but what choice do I have? Without a cure for my condition, all that I am able to do is embrace the reality of what I have become. It does not seem like much of a choice at all to me. What would he say about masterless samurai like you? 7 times down, 8 times up. Gaichu smiles thinly, wrapping a claw on the hilt of his sword. More specifically, if a samurai has not been a ronin at least 7 times, then he has not truly lived as a samurai. Those were different times, however. It was common for samurai to fall out of favor with their lord and be turned loose to wander. For company men like myself, the choice is serve or die. Is there anything else you would like to discuss? I want to know more about what it's like to be a ghoul. Gaichu cocks his head at you, his milky eyes narrowing mirthfully. Preparing for the eventuality of killing me and collecting the bounty. Make sure you leave my face intact. I would prefer to be a well-preserved trophy. Don't worry, I'll have it stuffed and mounted on my wall. Gaichu bares his teeth in a rictus grin. You can hear a faint chuckle rumble in the back of his throat. Now that would be an illustrious end to my career. A severed head, decorating a leaking wreck of a boat. Home to extremely private individuals who will never show me off. Couldn't you sell it to a museum or something of that sort? Gaichu grows serious, leaning back. If you wish to know about what it is like to be a ghoul, to be me, ask away. I see no reason to conceal the details of my condition. So you eat people. What's that like? Gaichu blinks a few times and cocks his head as if to stare at the ceiling. What's it? What is it like to eat anything else? Or for a diabetic to take insulin? It is like that, a fact of life. I have found that most people are revolted by the concept of eating the flesh of humans, rather than the act itself. Taken in isolation of social concerns, humans are no more or less edible than most mammals. The flesh can be of poor or high quality, depending on all the factors you would expect, diet, lifestyle, etc. I prefer to prepare my meals as I would sashimi, light garnish and flavoring, but with an emphasis on the taste of the base meat. Do I enjoy it? No, not especially. Some Japanese are fond of pork and chicken, sashimi, but I have never been one of them. Gaiju shrugs helplessly. But it is a fact I must accept, and it is how things will be. If this is how things will be, I will make the best of it. Do you feel bad about having to eat people? No, but I was never a vegetarian, so why should I? Sorry, I had to drink some water. Gaichu seems puzzled by the question, as if he's missing nuances of meaning. It does not matter where the meat comes from. Someone who died in a car accident is as viable as someone I kill. I admit I have eaten people that I have killed, but that was of necessity. I was going to kill them anyway. Why let their bodies go to waste? Most ghouls smell like rotting meat. Why don't you? Diet and cleanliness. Most ghouls eat rotting flesh and do not bathe. I eat fresh meat and bathe regularly. Are you immortal? Considering this, Gaichu leans over onto one elbow. I have no idea. I do not believe there have been any organized studies of ghoul longevity. Most strains of the human metahuman vampiric virus impart a semblance of extended life, but I do not believe that the Krager strain is one. Somehow, I think it is more likely that I will die in combat than of old age, no matter how long I live. Ooh, it might be interesting to ask the doctor. To what end? I live by the sword and I will die by it. I have no illusions about my chances of growing old. Gaichu shakes his head in dismissal. How would I live out my days? In a rural country village eating people who happen to expire on nearby roads? That will not be my fate. What's the deal with your teeth? What deal are you referring to? Did you file them down into those points? No, they are actually new teeth created by the infection. I suppose it is a natural advantage to have better teeth suited for carnivorous pursuits. Let's talk about something else. As you wish. What is on your mind? We were talking about your father bailing you out of jail. Ah, yes. I do recall you asking about that. Gaichu's reticence is palpable in the long silence that follows. He does not continue. You said that if I came back later, you'd tell me what happened. Gaichu sighs heavily, nodding. I have given you my word, and I intend to keep it. Do not be concerned. I simply have not spoken to my family in a long time. Are you close? Not any longer. I have not seen my father for many years now, nor my mother or sister. I wish I could say that I miss them, but I feel that I hardly know them after so many years apart. Yasujiro gave me an ultimatum after my run-in with Shiwase security. He told me that he had cut a backroom deal with a rival in Shiwase to keep me out of prison. The charges would be suspended if I finished high school and studied at Kyoto University, with the intent of joining Renraku. If I did not, Shiwase would take me into custody, and I would spend time in prison. Typical, excuse me, typical corporate politics at work. The rich protecting each other. That is one perspective. I prefer to think of it as a man protecting the son that he loved, because his son was stupid and thoughtless. This was the act of man harming his company to protect his family. I do not think this is a common quality in these times. I had always taken my family for granted. Raised in a Renraku family, going to Renraku schools, I always had a sense of place, of belonging where I was. The thought of all of that vanishing, I simply could not imagine it. Suddenly, the reality of my actions became clear. Gaichu runs his fingers over his bald scalp, smiling distantly. From then on, I tried to be the son he wanted, and he seemed glad of it. We grew much closer over the next few years. He took time off to visit me when I was living in Kyoto. Why would that be unusual? He was a very busy man. In those day in those days, a lot of responsibility and very little time for himself. I was impressed that he could carve off as much as he did just to go camping with his son. A lot of nice wilderness in that part of Japan, I bet. Very much so. The land around Kyoto is protected from development due to historical and cultural significance. Most of the mountains are considered sacred, so the Diet declared them a national reserve. We made several trips to the area between Kyoto and Nara, around the village of Ide. We camped in the mountains above it. We would hunt wild deer and boar there, using my family's antique arquebus. That's a strange weapon of choice. It is a choice of expediency. It is nearly impossible for a private citizen to own a firearm in Japan, which is why you may so often read of Yakuza attacks involving swords and cleavers. As the Tanegashima that my family owns from the 18th century, it is exempt from ordinary regulations. Gaichu chuckles softly to himself. Perhaps ironically, hurting my father is how I learned to prepare raw meat. Strange to think that such activities served as training for my current state of affairs. So what's the process? How do you prepare it? Soak the meat in brine water and simmer it at low heat for several hours. Let it cool and repeat the process over several days. It cannot get too hot, or I am unable to eat it. This process brings out the collagen in the meat. When it is done, I spice it with ginger and sansho pepper. Again, not too much. Mundane food is anathema to me. Sighing happily, Gaishu stares off into the distance. When he looks back, he smiles broadly at you. Those were good days. I am sorry I cannot go back to those times. When one joins the Red Samurai, one must give up all attachments of one's previous life. The company, the code, and the unit become the entirety of your world. Even your family ties have to be cut. Especially those. Anything that could distract you from a mission must be purged. Commitment to the unit and the company must be total. Applicants must be human, Japanese, and utterly devoted to Renraku. Your unit becomes your family. Your commander is your father and mother, your teammates, your siblings. Red Samurai are not allowed to reveal our identities and position to anyone outside the Special Operations Group. Even if we wanted friends outside the unit, we could not have them. So how did you end up joining the Renraku military? Ah, a fair question, given my youthful indiscretions. Gaichu leans back, his blind eyes turned toward the ceiling. Are you familiar with the Kempeitai? No, what's that? The Kempeitai are the political arm of the Japanese military. Much like the commissioners of the Soviet Union, they are responsible for enforcing political and social orthodoxy. This is not just within the army, mind you. They also enforce certain laws with regards to the general populace. When I was enrolled at Kyoto University, I studied global security and political science. It's the major generally used as a gateway to the private security postings with both government and corporate militaries. I knew I wanted to fight. I was a young man. And my blood was always up. One of the requirements was the students join the youth brigade, Kempeitai. The youth brigade is a bit like the ROTC in North America, the Young Falcons in the Sioux Nation, or the District Officer Program in the Republic of Korea. Members learn to be soldiers without actually joining an army. They perform community service and promote civic pride. Performance and prestige in the Kempeitai used to dictate later job opportunities, a bit like a good internship. Seems like the kind of thing Renrock would look favorably upon. When I was in the school, the mega corporations looked favorably on youth brigade service. At the time, the interests of the emperor and the corporations were aligned. A grand drive to return Japanese industry to the forefront of the world economy. Good marks for your youth brigade, Commander, was sure sign that you would be offered a good position with corporate security, and I wanted to be the best. These days, the mega corporations have begun to resist that kind of nationalism in favor of corporate pride. Youth brigade service is becoming a black mark rather than a positive. Gaishu shifts, resting his elbows on his knees as he leans forward. I do not know if the alternative is any better, though. When I was nearing graduation, I was approached by a recruiter with Renraku Security. She told me I came from a good family and could have a promising career with the company. She offered to fast-track my application towards a potential Red Samurai position, 3 years with the Renraku military as a junior officer, and guaranteed replacement in a Red Samurai training billet of my choosing. The pay was good, and the excitement of being an elite was an attractive proposition. I accepted, but I did not truly understand what I was signing up for. As I told you before, they forced you to give up everything except the company and unit. That was made clear to me, but I did not truly understand it. So what happened? Exactly what you would expect happened. I signed the contract and became a soldier in Renraku's army. I was physically fit, at the top of my class, and it seemed inevitable I would see my desires fulfilled. Gaichu wraps 2 knuckles on his breastplate. Obviously, I succeeded. The training was extremely difficult, both mentally and physically. I knew that I would be isolated from my old life, but I did not anticipate the full extent of that isolation. All Red Samurai recruits report to a facility called the Forge in Chiba. You are assigned a unit, you and 4 other recruits, and for the next 2 years, the Forge will be your home and prison. Shaking his head wistfully, Gaichu snorts. It seems ridiculous in retrospect. We were all so young. None of us had any idea of what we were doing, except trying to become the best soldiers in the world. And yet, those strangers became my new family, in the absence of the old. Tell me about the members of your unit. Gaichu wrinkles his nose as if smelling something foul. That chapter of my life is over and done with, and they are no longer part of my world. Why would you care about any of that? If they're still hunting you, I need to know about them. He stares at you for a long, silent moment. Finally, he grunts. Very well. That is a fair point. Gaichu looks down at his hands, picking something out from beneath one claw. He continues to look at his hands while he speaks. When I was younger, I would have more readily cut off my fingers than tell you what you ask. You must understand that secrecy is absolute among the Red Samurai. Your identity becomes secret, erased from any database that might connect you to the Red Samurai. You use only your code name when in the field, and your given name is known only to your commanders and your units, even when Red Samurai units have no idea who you really are. Finally looking up from his hands, Gaichu leans back against the boxes. Contact with the outside world is cut off completely. Even once training is over, your communications are restricted. Maintaining relationships outside of those you work with is frowned upon. Why do they do that? It forces new recruits to bond more tightly than in any other military unit. Every emotion a recruit has for their old friends and family is transferred to the unit. In a very real way, you are required to love your teammates. Ishida was our commander. He came from a rich family in Saitama, the kind of family where he was given every advantage possible, with the expectations that he would keep the family name prestigious. He was older than the rest of us, and he already spent 6 years in the army. A very severe man, barely given to humor. Takagawa was usually the second in command. As our designated marksman, he tended to have better tactical view of how an operation should be run, simply because he needed to study the terrain more. He loved to get us laughing. Without him, I would have gone crazy in the first few months. Our major's name was Sasaki. She had been in training as a Miko, an apprentice priestess, when her magic began to manifest. She was in the unit for the challenge and for the money. Her family had always been poor, and they had always told her she would never amount to anything. I think she had joined the Red Samurai just to prove to them that she could do anything else she wanted. My kind of attitude, I admit. Gaichu cocks his head, amused. I am surprised to hear it. You and Sasaki share similar attitudes. Neither of you stops to consider if your goals are attainable. You simply know that they are. Our heavy gunner's name was Aomori. He kept the team honest with itself, but he never had a disparaging word for anyone, but would not hesitate to call someone out for their behavior. Sasaki loved that about him. Really, she loved all of him. The two were discreet, but discretion only goes so far in such a small team. Still, we respected their privacy where possible. That seems like a recipe for disaster. Under ordinary circumstances, it could have. But Red Samurai unit commanders are given incredible leeway in what to allow or forbid. The belief is that the unit should fail or succeed as a whole. To that end, whatever works is the guiding principle. Aomori and Sasaki would have been miserable if we kept them apart, and it would have hurt the team. Lastly, there was me. I was the close quarters and breaching expert, the first man in the door when we had to clear a room. I was the perfectionist on the team. Aomori could get us to do anything, but I was the one who made this certain we did it well, with style. How do you mean? If a thing is worth doing, it is worth doing well. If that thing is also your duty, it is worth doing perfectly, many times. We would perform a drill or exercise well enough, but that was not good enough if I had to trust my life to it. That's why we became one of the best teams in the organization's history. That's a thing to be proud of. Of course it is. Do you think I do not know that? Gaichu sighs heavily. I apologize. It is just that those feelings are still raw sometimes. Even if I were to be cured, I could never go back. They have been disgraced, and I have done unforgivable things. I have been cast out for good. What do you mean? Gaichu closes his eyes, sighing through his nose. When they ambushed me in Fukuoka, it was fight or die. I killed two of them before I escaped. I will not be returning to the unit no matter what. He opens his eyes after a moment, shoulders slumping. It is not an easy memory to grapple with. Why not now? I need to process the emotions. It was nearly a year ago, but it still feels as raw as if it were yesterday. I am tired. Come back later and we can talk more. So Gaichu is, man, he is going through it right now. My man Gaichu going through it. I feel you though, bro. A heavy scent buffets your senses. The scent of pure unadulterated book. Woody, musky, dusty. The light. Herbal incense from before seems like an afterthought in the wake of paper smell. Looking around, you see that the shopkeeper has abandoned her earlier feeble attempts at organizing the texts. Several of the towers of books are now reduced to piles on the ground. A piece of paper caught somehow in a ceiling rafter rustles gently above you. Crafty, you win. You hear a shuffling of papers. An arm rolls out from under a pile of blankets and books, and Crafty raises her head. A notebook spread open on top of it. The book topples to the floor. Oh, hey, her voice cracks. Crafty clears her throat with a cough and stumbles out of her pile. Her voice is clear when she speaks again. Sorry about the mess. I was up all night reading, or rather, up every night reading. She stretches. You look dog tired. You feeling all right? Crafty lets out a single sharp laugh. I've been better if that's what you mean. Going through these notebooks has been hard, not just because of the sheer amount of information. It's been a nostalgic ride, too. Why don't you take a break? No way. I've dug myself too deep to back out now. And I don't say that as a bad thing. I've made progress. I'm proud of that. She leans on a book covered chair. The sooner I figure out these dreams, the sooner I can rest. And trust me, Zero, I'll make up for it in spades and naps. Just don't work yourself to death. That wouldn't achieve much, would it? And it isn't all bad. These journals are just as exciting as they are laborious. So, what's the latest? The latest. She walks over to a glass table and starts tossing books off of it. As she digs through them, you realize the table is not actually a table, but a glass display case full of dried medicinal ingredients. Crafty withdraws a notebook from the pile, its binding unraveling, the pages holding on for dear life. Here we go. This one's loaded. Give me the highlights. Got a couple big finds. Mom's notes are a mess, so I boiled them down to the most important things and important information: an exorcism and the Yama Kings. Where do you want to start? Tell me about the exorcism. She flips through the notebook and, after locating the right page, lays the book on the counter. Her index finger glides across the notes as she summarizes its contents. On one of Mom's trips to the walled city, she decided to check out an archway, an old crumbling relic that residents believed to be haunted. Mom wasn't sure about the hauntings, but upon entering the area, she immediately felt that it was a place of concentrated ki. I know someone who's mentioned the same arch. She's from the walled city. Crafty looks up from the notebook. I'd believe that. It's a fairly prominent landmark. Seems to me like most people from the walled city would at least have heard of it, if not seen it. What does she say? I can boil it down to creepy. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. At least, from what my mother wrote, it was a serious bad. Go on. The key wasn't like your standard run of the mill energy. Even for the walled city, this key was exceptionally dark, and it all seemed to gravitate toward the arch. So she did what any kook of her magic brand would try: a Taoist exorcism. How did that go? It went to hell. The exorcism failed, and something happened to her. She broke. Crafty takes a deep breath through her nose. My mother had entered the city strong, confident, capable, but when she left that day, it's hard to explain. It's as if the experience left her vulnerable to those base horrors within the walled city. She grew paranoid and became frail of mind and body, a mere shadow of her former self. It's as if she'd witnessed something, and it changed her. She became more obsessed than ever, and that's how I remember her now, as that broken woman. I'm not sure how this fits into our investigation, but if that sort of malevolence is coursing through the walled city, it's no wonder the people who live there experience such terrible dreams. I'd like to know about the Yama Kings. Crafty turns to a page marked with a red sticky note. She looks up at you. Tell me, how much do you know about the Yama Kings? I've run across stories about them in my own research. Personally, I'd only hear about the Yama Kings in fables and myths, things to scare children to sleep, to inspire awe. As you can guess, intimate knowledge about imaginary beings is largely non existent. And here, she taps the page. We found the demons of the walled city. Through my mother's excursions into the slum, she came to learn that its residents had their own unique Yama Kings, different from the traditional ones. The people there are segregated from the rest of Hong Kong. Over time, they came to believe that their home was possessed by local demons. Makes sense considering the place's penchant for crime and disaster. Yeah, I'll buy that. There are three that Mom knew of: Lam Vi, Fu Mong, and Qian Ya. Each Yama King is associated with the negative energy on which they feed. Lam Vi feeds from cowards, Fu Mong from the guilty, and Qian Ya, slaves. Unfortunately, my mother's handwriting declined with her sanity. She rubs her forehead in frustration. She has a lot of details in here about these local Yama Kings, but I can only make out bits and parts. There's a list, something here about her mouth twists sideways and her eyes squint, straining to read the notes. Rules? Maybe laws of some sort? The thing that stood out to me is here. She plops a finger onto the page. It's about the propriety surrounding ownership in deals, exchanges, negotiations, luncheons? No, that last part can't be right. Anyways, it says that the Yama Kings, under rules or laws, must adhere to the terms of a deal. And there's something else, but she sighs and flips the paper onto the counter. Nope, sorry. Can't read anything past that. You know, it's strange to me that Mom found these mystical beings significant enough to mention in her documents. It makes me wonder if she thought they were real or connected to the curse that she believed in. A thump, and Crafty closes the notebook. She casually tosses it back onto the display case. It's not the best lead, but I think that it's a step in the right direction. Back so soon? Tell me what you need, and I see what I can do. Think you could send me a copy of those notes? Crafty taps her fingers to her nose. Already a step ahead of you. I just finished digitally transcribing the information. I'll send it your way. She looks around the book covered shop. As soon as I find my terminal. Thanks, Crafty. You're welcome. Expect them soon. I'll let you get back to it. Sounds like a plan. See you soon. All right, let's go see if there's anybody else to talk to right now. I know we could probably talk to old boy right here with the tech shop. I do want to talk to him to see if there's some stuff I get. Here he goes. Law. So, see if I got some metadata for him. Tier Tarngeyer Intelligence is targeting Eastern Tiger Corporation. They're after genetics research. Boom, that's what I like. Simple, straightforward, international crime. They're probably building macro bioweapons or something. Let's see what I got for you. You already know. Have you got some new yen? I'll bill this as a data expense. Wampo recognizes this intrinsic value of information. Information is money. Boom. All right. So we're good on talking to him. If anything, I should go to the weapons. See if there's anything I can buy. Really, I need clothes. That's what I need. Freddy Ka-Fi is showing off some fresh ink to everyone who passes inside Club 88. On each forearm, he has tattooed an anchor. He demonstrates how they look in various poses, from flexes to his standard arms folded across his chest. Not so bad, right? Someone else told me that only real sailors get tats like these. I figure it's appropriate either way, seeing as my meat hooks hit like a pair of anchors. I'll take you at your word on that. You getting cute with me, Zero? Because you know I've been letting you strut about with your arms on account of respect for what you do. Don't go making me rethink that. Because someday soon, this guy here is going to be a part of a crew you wouldn't want to tangle with. We'll make you walk the plank or something. Have you talked to your father about all this? No, I wanted to be a surprise. Don't want him to feel like he forced me into a family business. By which I mean piracy, not his fluff we've got going on here. Doesn't take a genius to see that my pa has no love for the club. I'm a little afraid he might be jealous when I tell him I'll be shipping out. I know he misses it, the adventure, the thrills. I can picture it all. Unfurling the black sails, running up the skull and crossbones, crashing down a fleeing ship, then swinging across the plunder hold. Yeah, I know, it's not like that these days. It's speedboats with machine guns climbing up rope ladders in heavy seas and shipjacking. But hey, that's what I'm cut out for. I've got a heart for the sea, but I'm not afraid of hardships and hard working fights. I don't work out just to look good and bounce drunk smugglers. You serious about joining a pirate crew? Hell yes. And not just any pirates. The most exclusive group of pirates there on the water. The Hell Thunder crew. I heard about them last week. They only take orcs and trolls like me. Tough bastards, men to be feared. It's the perfect operation for me to join, and I'm sure they'll take me, especially when they learn who my father is. I wouldn't be surprised if they were inspired by him in the first place. Not many troll pirates back in my pa's day. In fact, I bet they make me first mate or something just for being his blood. I'll leave you be. A redhead elf is hunched over her table, her eyes firmly locked on a disassembled micro-drone she has spread out across it. A name tag on her jumpsuit collar says EOS in bold letters. After a few moments, she sighs heavily and mutters under her breath. Oh, come on, don't tell me I lost the EMS transducer. EOS frantically begins searching the area around the table, methodically sifting through cigarette butts, stale gum, and orange peels. She squeals with excitement as she finds a small circuit. Got you. That's a relief and a half. She places it gingerly in one of her pockets. As she turns her attention towards the table, she spares you a quick glance. Watch your step. I don't think anything else fell off the table, but I won't know for sure until I get this back together. I'll be careful. Thanks. I'd be doing this at home, but my neighbor's got some kind of heavy-duty electrical work going on, and it's fritzing out the unshielded parts of this little guy. Had to vacate or risk frying his internals. She leans over, peering closely at some particular part. Ah, crap. This is gonna take more work than I thought. Oh well, another time. Sweeping the drone pieces up into a pile with her hands, she scoops them into one of her jumpsuit's many pockets. She turns to face you, giving you her full attention. You're Kindly's hired help, aren't you? The name's EOS. Nice to meet you. I'm Zero. Nice to meet you. Glad to get your name. It's a lot nicer than that foreigner, which seems to be what most of the locals call you. She pulls out a business card made of stamped sheet metal and puts it on the table. We're in the same line of work, you know. You ever need a rigger? Look me up. Very affordable rates, and I guarantee results. Why'd you become a rigger? Because I've always loved cars. Old ones, new ones, even the beaters that are falling apart that you have to hold together while baling wire and chewing gum. I like drones too, but my first love was a 2034 Alfa Romeo Farinata. Drove that thing until the wheels fell off. EOS grins crookedly, propping her chin up on one fist. Did some work with the Atlanta film industry at first as a stunt driver. That paid for my first vehicle control rig. It also got me into drone rigging, since smaller projects usually need camera riggers for aerial shots. Fun times, but the pay in the cast isn't like it is in Hollywood. It's all small scale stuff. Why'd you end up leaving the business? Money, always the money. My mom got sick and we couldn't afford medical bills. Turns out that in Shadows, people always need a good driver, especially ones who also have some high altitude patrol drones that are packing guns. I started to make a name for myself. Took some jobs for the Comanche Mafia smuggling things in and out of the Pueblo Corporate Council. EO spreads her hands helplessly, grinning. And here I am. Once I got a taste for the adrenaline, I never looked back. Too much of a rush out here on the edge. How'd you get your street name? Honestly, it's my sunny disposition. I'm not even kidding. The elf giggles to herself for a moment, head falling back as she stares toward the ceiling. I had this friend in Vegas, a real rich old money type from Dubrovnik. He'd fallen on hard times, mostly because he couldn't play cards for shit. Great fixture though, because everybody loved him. He's the one who gave it to me. EOS, he said to me, your new street name should be EOS, because whenever you show up, it's like the breaking dawn in my office. Could have charmed bees out of their hives, I swear to God. Last I heard, he finally got enough money to pay his debts and get the hell back to Europe. Sure hope he did. I like to imagine him sitting on the Adriatic, sipping a Negroni and reading a spy novel. You have a preferred kind of job. EOS gets a smile that spreads from ear to ear, and she leans over to whisper in a conspiratorial tone. Heists. Anytime we can get in under a ticking clock racing against time and get away in a cloud of burning rubber, that's where it's at for me. One of the best jobs I've ever had was a run on a branch of Frankfurter Bankverein in Nice. In Nice. Nice. I don't know. Can't even pronounce that. Bankverein. I don't know. The cops were hot on our ass as soon as we got out of the vault, because the Decker had been dumped from the system before he could squash the alarm. So we rush outside, right? And our getaway car is a Skoda RK3 that I modded up with a supercharger and a kinetic energy recovery system. Didn't look like much, but man, that car could haul. We burned through those French streets like we were right out of an old Frankenheimer movie. Glorious getaway. Any run you can walk away from is a good one. You said it, and the aftermath, glorious. 2 weeks lounging on the beaches of Corfu eating fresh perch you caught right on the rocks. Revian always wanted to poach it, but come on, you gotta grill that fish fresh. Later, EOS. Tapping a finger to her brow, EOS grinned. See ya. Don't be afraid to call. So we're meeting all type of Shadowrunners. The dread creeping through Hawi has pervaded even the induced euphoria of Club 88. Ermine herself is not immune, looking to be caught between the need for rest and the inability to find the peace necessary for it. It's not a good time, Zero. I can see that. What's going on? I wish I knew. I can only speak for myself, though. I don't know about the rest of them, but I'm dead on my feet. Slept a solid 6 hours, but it was hardly restful sleep. Still worrying about Callum in that suit. I tried to put that period of my life behind me. I tried to forget what had happened, to move past it. I had to, or else I would have destroyed our family just as it was beginning. Some truths were best left buried. I can live with the shame. It was my own stupid mistake. But it should have ended there. The past should stay in the past. But this man will not be denied. He will lure Callum with promises of fortune, power, prestige. He will offer him things I never could, just as he once did with me. Callum feels alone here, just as I did when Henry was away at sea. I will kill this man before I let him take my boy from me. I do not care who he is or what right he might claim. I suppose this is why I am not sleeping well. The dreams. Bad dreams. Like none I've ever had before. Vivid. More real than you standing here. And the memory refuses to leave me. I was 20 years younger. Young. Absolutely at home in my own skin and happy. Happier than I remember ever being. Positively glowing. There was a man with me. It was Henry, but not the Henry I knew. This was Henry as he might have been if he had never goblinized, handsome, well-dressed, perfectly human. But when he smiled, there were too many teeth, and I knew it was a lie. Then I woke up, clutching my stomach, feeling for bite marks that weren't there. I haven't been able to shake the image of that smile all day. Those teeth, they wanted to devour me and everything I hold dear. Perhaps a little business would take your mind off it all. So let's see what we got here. We are working with a 16 damage shotgun, 12 damage pistol, and 11 damage assault rifle. Okay. Let's go back. So we got a 14 damage, 10 damage. Okay. You know, let me go use the restroom. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Well, I'm gonna buy this. Yep. Well, oh, look now. Oh, look dope, huh? If I had going like a 6 in quickness would be good. Yeah. I'm just gonna leave it there. Excuse me, I'm just eating my snack. Then I'm getting some sunflower seeds and some cherries. I'm trying to snack healthy, you know what I mean? Even though he has a drink in his hand, the red in Callum's eyes is not that of drunken stupor, but of a barely suppressed rage. An angry troll is a dangerous thing, and an angry drug troll is a disaster waiting to happen. What do you want? You don't look so good. You see the other guy. Ha! Not a scratch on her, of course. Might be easier she just hit me, but she fights with words, infusing them with guilt and fear and deceit. She gets in your head. It's no wonder I'm having such twisted dreams. Problems with your mother. Asking that is like asking for my life story. But the short version is that my parents have been actively working against me since I was old enough to think for myself. But this time, it goes beyond discouragement. It's a new low. No other word for it but sabotage. Whoever my would-be patron is, he works for Baihu. Same court my mother used to work for. Not sure why she quit, but it must have been an ugly break for her to be acting this way. To think she'd be so spiteful that she'd deny her own son a future because of it. Always thought she just wanted me home, working as a wage slave in her house. Turns out the bitch just can't stand the thought of me succeeding where she failed. Dream. Messed up dream, same one actually, over and over. I'm lying on a long dining table, like you'd find in a rich man's home, real wood polished and set with all the finery, but there I am, right in the middle of it all, like the main course. I hear whispers all around me, women's voices. Then one of them approaches, and I see that it's my mother. She doesn't even look me in the eye, she just sees me like an object, some kind of thing. Then she cuts into me. I don't feel any pain. I suppose I'm dead, but I scream anyway. I scream because of the look on her face when she starts to eat the hunk of me she carved off. Her teeth are terrifying. When another woman approaches, and it's my mother again, they all are, and they all start devouring me bit by bit until there's nothing left. I'll leave you be. Oh, damn. Henry Ka-Fai paces a rut into the warm floor of Club 88. He wrings his hands, looking every bit like the one trying to desperately hold on to something but failing with every attempt. He is oblivious to everything around him. Henry, you still with us? Huh? What? Oh, sorry. Did see you there. I was just thinking. What about? Lots of things. The past, the here and now, what is and what might have been. I think about how many sailors drown every year, and how I never once came close. I think about how it might have been for Ermine if I had. Lots of things have been preying on my mind lately. Last time you mentioned an incident. Care to speak about it? Truth is, I've wanted to talk about it, needed to talk about it for a long time. I was made a first mate by then, on a big rescue and salvage tug. We were steaming out into the Pacific, down towards Saipan. A big container ship had lost power and was drifting. When we were 2 days out from Hong Kong, we picked up a distress call. Our captain told us to ignore it, quoted some Wu Jing corporate gibberish, and ordered our rigger to change course to avoid it. Truth is, we all knew why. That container ship was probably losing Wu Jing 1 million new yen in lost revenues for every hour it drifted. I don't know why I did it, but I refused. Maybe it was on account of being a family man. Maybe I was just in the mood. But I couldn't leave those people behind. I demanded that the captain send us to assist, and when he did it, I knocked him out. Well, everyone followed me. When we reached the signal, we found a small passenger ship, well away from its regular route. No response to hail, so I went aboard with a small group. What we found was a horror show. Men, women, children, brutally butchered, but not outright killed. Some had died from their injuries, yes, but most were just missing an arm, a leg, or a foot. They wouldn't have lasted much longer, but they could have been saved. And that's when we realized it was a trap. The time it would have taken us to stabilize and move those people would have given the ones responsible the chance they needed to take our boat. They'd meant to lure in a bigger ship. I grabbed my guys, we got the hell out of there at full steam. I left those people to die. They knew it, and as we were going, their eyes have haunted me ever since. So that was the end of my career. Wu Jing let me go nice and quiet with a hush package. The law of the sea still applies. You've got help ships in distress when you can. Wu Jing didn't want anyone to know the captain of their rescue tugboat had tried to violate that. Ermine thinks I retired for the poison her. She wouldn't be able to look at me if she knew the truth. How are things between you and Ermine? Not great, to be honest. It's true what the voice in my dreams has been saying. Ermine doesn't need me. I'm useless around here. Better that I just stay out of her way. But it's more than usual. Or it's more than that. We've had our share of problems over the years. My being absent for long stretches, her being left alone, fending for herself while I was away. It wasn't easy for her, and I think she sometimes sought comfort elsewhere. I don't know who, and I don't know exactly when, but I can't help thinking it. I look at Callum sometimes. I'll always love him, but I'll also always wonder. It'll hardly be the worst thing that ever happened to me, but even so, I'll leave you be. Damn. Ambrose looks rougher, more tired than usual. These dreams are getting out of hand, Zero. You got them too, right? I normally wake up more tired than when I fell asleep, but this is nuts. So, after you smashed up, how did you become a street doc? Ambrose's face becomes grim. You want to keep going with this, Zero? Alright. After ambush, things were desperate for a long time. We had to borrow a lot of money. Karen had blown ears and a brain injury. I was a chunk of raw meat. I was so bad that I was almost euthanized. Shit, I wanted to be put down. Then we turned the tide. Before you continue, why did they euthanize you? Because of Karen. She raised holy hell about it. She was trans Catholic, and they're dead set against suicide. To them, it's the worst sin. See, they think we're all incarnate to do our life's karmic work. No matter how shitty that work is, all other beings in the universe rely upon us to finish it. So we must see our lives through. Personally, I don't buy it. I just can't believe the universe is that cruel. Ambrose shakes his head in exasperation. Karen was a walking contradiction. She had high aspirations, but she was terrible at all that thou shalt not kill or steal or throw people off subway platform stuff. Ambrose rolls his eyes and gives a strained grin. She was like, Ambrose, if you smoke yourself, I will hunt you down in your next life and gut you. I felt I owed it to her to let her live. Oh, I felt I owed it to her to live. That was the first time I ever felt like I owed anything to anyone. His face clouds with anger and hurt. And then what she did to me, unfucking believable. What did Kara do? It's a raw nerve, Zero. Ambrose's brows draw low. He glances with intense anger toward the operating table for a moment. Karen betrayed me. I don't want to talk about it. Wait. How did you pay all that money back? I'm getting to that. Short answer is I'm still paying it back, but I'm gaining ground. Tell you what, though, it's not the money that's hard, it's the favors. I owe kindly so many favors, I'll probably never pay them all off. This clearly lets me do a lot of things I like, but I also have to do some things I don't like at all. Don't ask about that. I can't tell you. How did you turn the tide? Land a plane out, bros. I'm in a hurry. Our hall had a really high grade medical program in it, and I figured out a wild kludge to run it on my cyber. We borrowed a bunch of money from Kindly and the Ka-Fi tribe to set up Chrome Alley. The rest is history. I thought we'd make a killing. He looks proudly around the medical clinic cum machine shop. Maybe it's not a killing, but it turned out to be a pretty good life. You ever think about going back for revenge? Nah, I left that world behind. I'm dead to running, and running is dead to me. What happened with Karen? She betrayed me. Ambrose folds his one arm tensely across his chest and scowls. She left me here. He nods towards a small frame picture over his impressive home built computer. That's Karen. The pictures of a serious looking Filipino woman in a black tank top. Her neck, shoulders, and arms are chiseled with lean muscle and spotted with tattoos. She looks vaguely annoyed at the camera. Semper Fidelis is visible in Gothic script tattooed across her chest. A trans Catholic rosary hangs on the picture, a crucifix, with a delicate Kali yantra overlying the center. In the picture, the rosary is visible around the woman's neck. Karen quit shadowrunning too. Supposedly, she made a full recovery. She started delivering for smugglers. She was my main conduit for drugs and cyber. Ambrose shakes his head gently. She just stopped caring about anything. Maybe it was the brain injury, but I don't think so. I think everything she'd done started catching up with her. I could see it in her eyes. Take your time. I'm listening. Ambrose rubs his mouth with the remainder of his hand. He pauses. She couldn't sleep. She wouldn't take meds for it. I think she didn't want to get better. One day she was here. We were behind the curtain. I went out front to talk to someone. Ambrose presses one of his remaining fingers into the side of his neck. She took her knife and set the point right here. She puts the blade right through and out along her trachea, sliced through everything outside of that, severed her own carotid artery. Just like that, she was removing a century. Or just like she was removing a century. That was it. Duh. Ambrose stops. He holds his hand over his mouth for a long moment. When he continues, his voice is thick. She did it right there on the operating table. There wasn't even a thump. That was Karen. Efficient, ruthless, considerate in a weird way. Could never live by her own moral commandments. Could never ask for what she needed. Ambrose crosses himself. Requiescat cum Deus, Karen Santos, Kali Mater Magna, Jesu Christe, Swami Noster. He gives you a sidelong glance. I'm not trans Catholic. Hell, I'm not in the religion at all. But I try to honor her in that way. I'm sorry, Ambrose. It's okay, Zero. She, uh, she made her peace, I guess. Ambrose looks silently at Karen's picture. Eventually, he turns back to you. Ripshot's dead. My old hood in Chicago is in the containment zone, and Karen, well, she was my best friend, ever. I'm the last man standing. So here I am. I think I survived for a reason. So I can make other people's lives better. That's what I'm trying to do. Life is what we make it, right? Yeah, bros. Life is what we make it. Here, you want a drink? You should have a drink. A robotic arm flings open a cabinet, clatters inside it, and swings across the room, clutching a sapphire blue bottle. This is Lambanog. It's a Filipino coconut vodka. Have a shot with me? Sure, I'll have one. The robotic arm pours two shots. It swings one over to you. Ambrose gingerly takes the other in his ruined hand and holds it up. To fallen friends. May they rest in peace. You swallow the shots together. The strong raisin flavored liquor burns going down. Ambrose looks around in silence. Then his gaze settles on you, lonely. I used to be a real piece of work, Zero. When I got busted up for the first time in my life, I had to rely on other people. Broke, hunted, and close to death. Not so different from how you showed up, except for the death part. Someone here owed Karen a favor. The people of Hawi took care of us. Now, I think if I did so much harm in my past life, how much healing can I do in this one? Ambrose sighs and clutches his shot glass against his chest, like a religious talisman. He looks thoughtfully at you. That's more than I've told anyone in a long time. It does the heart good, Zero. Thanks. Well, a Rockter's life is busy. Better wrap this up. You still angry at Karen? I'll always be angry at Karen. She abandoned me. He shrugs. So what? She was my friend. I can be angry at her if I want to. Show me your services. Cyberware. So let's see, can we get some good shit? So they have the laser designator. Nah. No. I believe I have the Alpha Eye. Or do I this is too expensive. Okay, so I have the Vision Magnification Eyes Basic, okay? So they do not have the alpha version out yet. No. Goodbye, Ambrose. Time for me to go. Cheers, Zero. Talk to you later. The mess of notes, mementos, photos, and paperwork on the wall behind the computer reflects the daily work of Ambrose's life and hints at the story he's told you. A framed photo shows what must be Ambrose as a young man back in his Chicago days, standing proudly in front of a vintage Ford Mustang. Examine the picture of Ambrose in the Mustang. It looks like Ambrose. It looks like a young Ambrose. It's hard to tell for sure, with all his scarring and cosmetic reconstruction now. The young man definitely has Ambrose's big, cheesy grin. He can't be more than 25 years old, but already he has a thick handlebar mustache. The photos, news clipping, and mementos posted around the clinic are visibly consistent with Ambrose's story. Through the general decorations, you can trace his journey. A bunch of aging Chicago photographs. Seattle. The ocean from what it looks like a container ship. Osaka, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong. The resonance of Hawaii plastered over everything else. Many are photos of Chicago's landmarks and of street races. Interspersed with them are obviously personal photos of Caucasian and African American metahumans at a bar, in front of a fountain, working on a car, and so on. A young man who must be Ambrose appears in a few of them, but no other person is repeated in the photographs. Young Ambrose doesn't appear in any of the pictures with recognizable landmarks. Most of the big pictures are of old Chicago or classic Motorhead Americana. 20th century gas stations, desert highways, Devil's Tower, motorcycle gangs. Closer inspection reveals a section full of personal photos, recording what may have been Ambrose's trip from Chicago through the western UCAS and Sioux Nation and the Salis Sheethead Council to Seattle. There's even a photo of the ruins of Grand Coulee Dam. Once, it was the largest power station in old USA. Now it's breached. The Columbia River roars through its jagged concrete throat, wild and cataclysmic. Well, that's Ambrose's story, man. Sad, pretty sad. But, yeah. Old girl ain't right here right now. The one that says she had lumpia. To be honest, I would love some lumpia right now. Man, it sure is kind of warm tonight, though. I could not in the game, but like in real life, it is warm. A hover drone loiters in front of Matthew. A stream of profanity is spewing from its scratchy speakers. People nearby are looking away, ignoring the awkward situation. Matthew's cigarillo is dead, drenched by rain. He stands with his signature nonchalance, but the edges of his face are twitching. His eyes are wide with fear. You can listen in, but you've already got the gist. Matthew is being chewed out. A sharp voice emits from the hover drone, interspersed with static crackles. Don't pick up the sails. You're going to be digging dog shit out of tire treads for a living. You got me? Reliable Matthews stutters a response. Hey, Quang Ha. Come on, beautiful. I've just got half a dozen hot leads coming in just today. Don't give me your cheap hustler shtick, loser. If you don't push 10, you and your fuzzy little pals are going to be living in a cardboard box. Don't worry, beauty. I want to hear yes, sir. If I hear anything else, I'm going to pull your eyes down your ass so you can watch me kick the crap out of you. You hear me? Yes, sir. Matthew's voice is barely a whisper. What was that? He says it louder. Yes, sir. That's better. Now don't screw this up, you damn screw up. The drone speakers finish with a shriek of feedback and clack back into its hole. The drone soars up into the sky and races upriver. Matthew shakes himself off. His cheery demeanor surges back with a striking resilience. He turns towards you, a little wild-eyed, but otherwise restored to his usual self. Zero, I hardly saw you there. Come on in, don't be a stranger, beautiful. Who are you talking to through the hover drone? One of my suppliers, Quang Ha. Really good businessman, sharp guy, sees opportunity where most of us only see broken parts. Funny guy. Makes me laugh my ass off. What's your business arrangement with Quang Ha? I sell on commission. Gotta keep these bots moving. They don't earn their keeps sitting out in the barge. You don't own most of these drones. Matthew's brows arch up in surprise. Of course not. How could I afford them? I'm so lucky to have a guy like Quang Ha as a partner. Only problem is he's got me laughing in stitches so much it sometimes distracts me from sales. Quang Ha sounded unhappy. Oh, that's just Quang Ha. He's a paper tiger. He's like a paper tiger. Matthew sways back and forth on his feet, languid and jittery at the same time. He's a big joker, always shouting, but I think he's a real softy at heart. Real big heart for the little people. Keeps me well stocked. Quang Ha's a funny guy, you say. Yeah, I was laughing my ass off over there. Matthew gives you a long, awkward smile. The seconds stretch out. He blinks uncomfortably. When he speaks, his words sound stilted, like he's repeating a mantra. He's a funny guy. Matthew adjusts his suit lapels with mechanical gusto. Woo! What a pep talker that Kung. I feel like I could take on the world right now. Goodbye, Matthew. Matthew just got shit on, guys. I, for one, enjoy Zero's visits. A hint of a smile touches Lau's lips as Jin grumbles to himself. What can we help? How can we help you? Sorry to interrupt. I was just wondering if you're all still having the dreams. This again? Don't you have anything better to do? Yes, we all still having the dreams. However, they've gotten a hell of a lot worse. Look, let's not get into detail. Okay, I think I read this. Our dreams have become unpleasant to say, darker, violent. He runs his hand along his tightly cropped beard. Not all that healthy, if you ask me, especially for men of our age. And the imagery. That about sum it up, Shu, Master Lao? I have nothing more to add. Shu? No, nothing. Is everything alright, Shu? You've been staring at me for a while. Yeah, yeah, this is... Yeah. Yep. Okay. So now we have done all the talking. We can now go do more jobs. So I suggest we do another job. If we can get to the damn station, like, come on. So we got the Rooster Low, Neville Ma. Let's see how long I've been going. Well, I think y'all know probably about what time it is. I'm gonna pick a mission. I'll probably do this one here. I'm gonna pick a mission, pick the runners, but I'm gonna end it off here because we've been streaming for almost 3 hours, and I think I need to take a break from reading. So let's go ahead and pick Isobel. Let's pick Gobbet. Let's get Duncan. So yeah, I'm gonna let the game save, and then I'll see y'all in the next stream. And yeah, we'll go ahead and continue playing Shadowrun. So peace out, y'all.